Making headlines this hour. A landmark telethon officially commences, signaling a nationwide media effort to support the government's landmark generational ban against tobacco. Chief Justice Abdul Ghani Mohammed underscores the judiciary's vital role in safeguarding society, urging judges to exercise their powers with unwavering integrity and adherence to legal and ethical standards. And the Minister of Islamic Affairs, Dr. Muhammad Shaheen Ali Saeed, announces an ambitious initiative to ensure no rundown mosques remain in the capital Malé City by the end of the current government's term. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSM News in English with me, Abdullah Ahil. And now the news in detail. A landmark telethon officially commences, signaling a nationwide media effort to support the government's landmark generational ban against tobacco. The special broadcast aims to encourage all individuals born on or after the 1st of January 2007 to embrace a smoke-free future with the generational ban on tobacco use set to take effect from Saturday. The telethon, which began at 3:45 p.m. on Friday, is scheduled to run continuously, concluding at 12 a.m. on Monday, engaging the public on the Critical Health Initiative. The extensive programming for the telethon includes in-depth interviews with key stakeholders alongside vital health and religious information concerning tobacco use. Diverse perspectives from youth, parents, and school students will be featured, ensuring a broad discussion on the implications and benefits of the ban. Various other segments are also planned to maintain viewer engagement and disseminate comprehensive information. Complementing the telethon, a 24-hour run also began on Friday at 4 p.m., designed to mark the historic implementation of the Tobacco Ban Act. This public event, which will conclude at 4 p.m. on Saturday, offers a range of activities, including a dedicated quit smoking clinic, an advocacy stall for public education, live music, and photo booth for participants. The government-engineered amendment to the Tobacco Control Act stipulates that once the bill becomes law, no person born on or after the 1st of January 2007 will be legally permitted to smoke. Additionally, the legislation will strictly prohibit the sale of any tobacco products to individuals within this age bracket, ultimately creating a smoke-free generation. Chief Justice Abdul Ghani Mohammed underscores the judiciary's vital role in safeguarding society, urging judges to exercise their powers with unwavering integrity and adherence to legal and ethical standards. His remarks came during the appointment ceremony of 19 new judges, including 2 designated for the criminal court and others for magistrate courts. Speaking at the occasion, the Chief Justice emphasized that the judiciary represents a profoundly noble responsibility, one that every judge must resolve to discharge with honesty and faithfulness, guided by a sacred oath for justice. He reminded the newly appointed officials that while their legal powers are substantial, every decision and action is subject to scrutiny and accountability. Additionally, the Chief Justice called upon judges to serve as exemplary role models both within and outside the courtroom. He stressed the importance of maintaining impeccable conduct and relationships, setting a high standard for court staff and those seeking judicial services. The Chief Justice concluded by advising the judges to administer justice as the fundamental pillar of Islam rather than merely a responsibility. Among the 19 judges sworn in, the 2 new criminal court judges are Muzammil Nasir and Ahmad Shafi. High Court Judge Muhammad Shaniz Abdullah administered their oaths of office at the ceremony. The Minister of Islamic Affairs, Dr. Muhammad Shaheen Ali Saeed, announces an ambitious initiative to ensure no rundown mosques remain in the capital, Malé City, by the end of the current government's term. The minister made the pledge while speaking at the ceremony of the construction of a new mosque, Masjid Ad-Dawwa at Mueveo Doshuge or Boduge in Mafan Ward. Minister Dr. Shahim highlighted the significance of the Mueveo Doshuge site, noting that it has historically been a hub for various educational activities. He stated that the new project would serve as a comprehensive center for worship, education, and social engagement, enriching the community. Upon its completion, the new mosque is projected to be one of the most modern in the city, with its associated center offering free services for various religious and educational activities. The new 8,973.33 square foot mosque has a capacity for 1,250 worshippers. In addition to the main prayer area, the facility will include a library, 3 classrooms, a conference hall, and an administrative office, and will serve both religious and educational purposes. The mosque has been designed to ensure accessibility for individuals with disabilities. The minister confirmed that sponsors have been secured for building new mosques on the land of nearly all existing mosques in the city. He added that these new facilities would position the city as having some of the most beautiful mosques in the region. He announced that the Barbari Mosque is slated to open in December, followed by the Zikra Mosque in January of next year. Additionally, the Salam Mosque in Vilimale will also undergo demolition and be replaced with a modern structure. The minister confidently stated that all these mosque projects are anticipated to be completed within the next 2 years. Minister of Economic Development and Trade Mohammad Saeed emphasizes that a strong construction industry is essential for promoting tourism in the Maldives. The minister made the remarks at the Maldives National Association for Construction Industries or MNACI's 24th Annual Member Forum. Speaking at the forum, Minister Saeed said the government is actively listening to the construction sector. He noted that the government's recent publications have also included proposals submitted by the MNACI. The minister highlighted that 2 main revenue streams exist in the construction industry. He explained while the industry earns much of its revenue through the government's Public Sector Infrastructure Program or PSIP projects, it is linked to the state's revenue, which in turn is closely tied to the tourism sector. The minister observed that the tourism industry has undergone dramatic transformations roughly every decade over the last 5 decades. He said the industry is now at its peak and stressed the need to take steps to ensure its sustainable growth in the future. In his speech, the minister said the tourism industry and the construction industry cannot be separated. He noted that the economic growth of the country is the result of the progress made by these 2 industries. The minister further discussed the amendments to the Special Economic Zone or SEZ Act aimed at boosting the economy. He noted that a $500 million investment is planned to expand health services that are currently unavailable in the Maldives and strengthen food security. He said similar investments will also support tourism in these zones, facilitated by a strong construction industry. Official statistics shows that prices of goods and services fell in the Maldives last month. According to the latest Consumer Price Index, or CPI, released by the Maldives Bureau of Statistics, prices fell by 0.09% in September compared to August this year. The CPI, which tracks the average change in prices of goods and services, indicated that vegetables saw the largest decline, with prices dropping by 6.20%. While fish prices fell by 2.51%, motorcycle prices dropped by 1.23%. Meanwhile, prices of dairy products and egg prices also saw a 0.49% decline. The most notable price increase recorded during the month was in electricity electricity, which rose by 3.42%, followed by fruit prices, which rose by 1.69%. President Dr. Mohamed Muiz recently expanded the list of essential food items by adding 23 new products to the list. The government tasked with the State Trading Organization, or STO, to ensure the availability of these goods in the market at affordable prices. STO is now selling these items, a move which is expected to help stabilize and sustain prices. Insights into business, the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite closes lower as Meta and Microsoft fell on worries over surging AI spending, while investors also digest a more hawkish tone from the U.S. Federal Reserve. Meta shares plunges after the social media company forecast notably larger capital expenses next year thanks to investments in artificial intelligence. Microsoft shares also fell after the tech giant reported a record capital expenditure of nearly $35 billion for its fiscal first quarter and warned that spending would rise this year. In contrast, however, Google parent Alphabet rose as steady growth in advertising and cloud computing powered better than expected results.
The equity markets today is kind of a best of times, worst of times story. You've got some really strong earnings from some of the tech companies, but you've also had some disappointments. One in particular is that Meta is facing some pushback from investors over its planned $30 billion bond offering. That is a very large number. The last time they came to market several years ago, it was only $10 billion.
The results followed the Federal Reserve's delivery of a widely expected quarter-point rate cut, but it raised doubts about future policy moves when Chair Jerome Powell said that another cut in December was not a foregone conclusion. Thursday's pullback in the S&P and the Nasdaq came after the three major indexes notched record highs in the past four sessions, lifted by optimism around quarterly earnings and expectations for a more accommodative monetary policy stance. Also, optimism around AI has been a key driver of the bull run in U.S. stocks this year, with the top tech companies collectively accounting for 35% of the weight of the S&P 500. Update on international events. Hurricane Melissa tore through the northern Caribbean, picked up speed as it churned across open ocean towards Bermuda, leaving a trail of high winds and destruction from Jamaica to Cuba and Haiti in its wake. In Cuba, at least 241 communities remained isolated and without communications following the storm's passing across Santiago province, according to preliminary media reports affecting as many as 140,000 residents.
In terms of damages, a lot of housing destruction broadly. Critical infrastructure also affected, including health facilities, schools, power lines. Telecommunications has been a challenge so far. Also, food production has been compromised after such extensive damage on crops and farmland.
Across eastern Cuba, authorities mobilized a massive evacuation effort, moving 735,000 people to shelters outside the hurricane's cone. Tourists alongside Cuba's northern keys were also relocated to inland hotels. Cuba reported substantial infrastructure and crop damage, but no loss of life as of midday Thursday. The storm did not hit Haiti, the Caribbean's most populous nation, but lashed it with days of rain. Authorities reported at least 25 deaths, largely due to floods in Petit Goave, a coastal town 64 kilometers west of the capital, where a river burst its banks. At least 10 children were killed and 12 people are missing there, Haiti's disaster management said, adding that more than 1,000 homes have been flooded nationwide and nearly 12,000 people have been moved to emergency shelters. U.S. forecaster AccuWeather estimated Melissa could cost $22 billion in damages and economic loss, and that rebuilding could take a decade or more. Real Madrid coach Xabi Alonso said there would be no reprisals against Vinicius Jr. after the Brazilian stormed off the pitch during Sunday's 2-1 October 26 El Clasico win over Barcelona. Speaking ahead of Madrid's La Liga clash with Valencia, Alonso confirmed the issue had been resolved internally following a team meeting on Wednesday on the 29th of October. Vinicius had reacted angrily to being substituted in the 71st minute, heading straight to the dressing room after a brief exchange with Alonso. He later issued a public apology to fans, teammates, and club president Florentino Perez, though he did not mention Alonso. Alonso downplayed the incident and said there would be no reprisals against Vinicius for walking off during El Clasico. The coach also praised Kylian Mbappe, who will receive the Golden Boot later on Friday as La Liga's 24 out of 25 top scorer. Real led the standings with 27 points, 5 ahead of Barcelona. Every Tuesday morning at Muizenberg Beach, mothers gather to trade the pressures of parenting for an hour of sea therapy, catching waves as part of a free surfing program designed to support women's mental health. The Moms on Board initiative, run by Lifestyle Surf Shop, offers free surfboards, wetsuits, and coaching sessions to mothers seeking respite from their daily responsibilities. The program has attracted women of all ages to one of South Africa's most popular surfing beaches, creating a community where motherhood takes a backseat to personal well-being. 75-year-old Jocelyn Early, a Moms on Board member, taught herself to surf by battling the waves at Muizenberg.
For me, surfing is the perfect thing to help me regulate my own nervous system. So when I surf, I feel like I get the ultimate dopamine boost. It ticks all the boxes for me, especially this group, because for women it's so important that we have community, and this is a community of moms surfing together, cheering each other on, and that's really what we need as moms and as women.
The program has also inspired 64-year-old Tanya Bones, who learned to surf at 59 and recently competed in her first ladies surfing event. She said, quote, "I think that women naturally gather in circles, and I think that women support each other naturally in circles," unquote. For Emily Ines, who has children with special medical needs, the hour in the water helps her regulate her own nervous system, so when she surfs, it feels like she's getting the ultimate dopamine boost. The No Children Allowed policy ensures mothers have dedicated time to connect with others outside their parenting role. Many participants meet at a nearby coffee shop after surfing to extend the social connection. Tamsin Lee Brown, the program's coach, said surfing saved her life, and she now shares that passion with participants every Tuesday. Many of the mothers arrange their work schedules around the sessions, underscoring the program's importance to their mental health. Muizenberg Beach, located in Cape Town, is widely considered the home of South African surfing and is famous as one of the best places in the world for beginners to learn the sport. And that's all the news we have for today. We'll be back with any further updates. Until then, I'm Abdullah Ahil from PSM News.